funds would be generated and so forth. If the discussion here today could be taken as direction not to take action, but rather to bring back proposals on each of probably 6 here. How many do you have, Johnny? 5?
Something like that, yeah.
5 or 6. We got 11 specific recommendations. I see no reason why these could not be brought back. Best, worst, good, bad, generate zero income, and so forth. And then, at that point, we will be in a position to look at these as well as anything else that addresses the shortfall. That is my main concern, is to look at the shortfall that we know is there, and we just cut it short a week ago, and I think we need some more examination of this. Maybe it's already been reviewed, maybe it's already been fully vetted. Come back and say, we've done that, we've been there, and there's nowhere to go. Okay, that takes that one off the table, next one. But I think we have to look at those 11 items plus seriously look for sources of revenue that may or may not be out there, but maybe they are in the items, implicit in the items that are up here. If we could do that, I think we would go a long way to dealing with problems we may be having in the next quarter and further third quarter of this year. So if that's the sentiment, I would suggest we go with that and either withdraw my negative vote and re-vote on it. I don't know if that's possible. Is that reconsideration?
You'd have to
Or
move
we simply
separately.
say, we extend it. We do have the draft of a board action that we could go forward with. It would take us out a few weeks. But I think it's really important we do this quickly. I think it's not something we sort of, we're working on it, and it goes off into the future. It's something that we get within the next, with 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. The October 2nd option is there. That's pretty tight timeline, though. It has been suggested here in a temporarily extending the deadline for the 08-09 budget. It's been provided by staff.
Before I go to Supervisor Pinches, the chair needs clarification. What you're saying, David, as long as these 10 or 11 items are giving expedited study with a report back to us, are you willing to move ahead with this budget today? If those are committed by the staff to bring those back for additional study and or modification of this budget if it was to be voted on today?
These plus anything else that
sure.
staff would identify as being far more or somewhat more or even equally worth examining.
Okay.
Yes, my concern is expediting it and looking at a full range of options. And I think supervisors up here have identified some of these, and that's the main point. But we do not have, in my opinion, a balanced budget until we know how we're going to deal with $1 million likely shortfall.
That's what I thought you said. I just wanted to make sure, and
No, that doesn't guarantee a couple of other supervisors are going to switch.
absolutely not. Okay, now Supervisor Pinches.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take my proposal, and basically take it one step at a time. You know, Supervisor Colfax started this off by saying, okay, he feels that we're $1 million roughly short. My proposal comes up with about $1 million. You know, I also understand the unions, my proposal basically stays away from any staffing issues. So if we can agree that a $300,000 Mill Creek settlement is probably a likely figure that's going to come through here in this year, I think we can pretty much all agree with that. Is that agreeable? Is there any big disagreement to that? Is anybody going to stand up and say, no, that won't happen? I think that's it. So the second one, the $300,000 solid waste contingency, I heard Supervisor Delbar said that I guess he consulted with the CEO and said that's probably doable, and I certainly believe it's doable. So the next one, the air quality settlement, that money, that's not proposed. We have already received that money. It presently sits in the air quality account. To use that money for dust control in the road department, so to put that money in the road fund and then take away the $300,000 general fund contribution from the road fund doesn't hurt the road fund. They get the same dollars, and so that's a zero loss there. And the $200,000 from the AODP, roughly there's about a actually total appropriations about $3.3 million. So I don't think, with good management skills, I don't think a $200,000 reduction in that area is out of line. I don't think maybe it has to do with some consulting services or something like that. I don't know the percentage of grant funding and all that, but anyways, I believe that's doable. And let's just say it's not. Then that still leaves about $900,000, which is close to your $1 million figure. If you put $500,000 to the Teeter plan, the $200,000 to the water agency for the Scout Lake project, and it does away with the $200,000 draw on the general reserve, so we don't have to worry about the first revenues go to backfill the general reserve, and it leaves $200,000 for contingency. I don't know. I don't see any real issues to contest there. I mean, if there's a